give. That's how I want to live. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Now, what else
I was
can
early,
we
it's fine.
do?
It's fine to be wrong on podcasts is what we're doing now.
Free and happy too. Oh, baby, now.
Who's that?
Keep it up.
Milton Wright. Keep it up.
And freedom without loneliness is what we now possess. We need no rings, let's just be friends. And love us to the end. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
All right. Okay. Hi. Welcome to. Ooh, baby. Guys, I have a. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Okay. I'll stop. These headphones don't even stay in my ears. I don't even know if it's working, honestly, frankly. But I'm gonna turn it down now. Hi. Wow. Hello? Is it working? All my technologies is being bad. Okay, guys. What an intro. Is that my intro? It could be. Okay. Hi, it's me, Rebecca. Welcome to Classroom Crush. I can't, this is not going to stay in my ear, so I'm going to take it out. Hi, it's me, Rebecca. Welcome to Classroom Crush. We're talking bonus episode. Keep it up, baby. Both my guests canceled or rescheduled on me this week. That's fine. It's the end of the year. Everybody has things that they're doing, I guess, is what I'm finding and I'm hearing and I'm figuring out. And if you were listening before, you might have heard about how I say I start things before I'm ready. So I started my podcast without a backlog, and here we are. But it's fine, and actually it's good, and thank you. Because I've had some thoughts. I've been having thoughts that I've been wanting to share on podcast. And then I'm always like, share those thoughts on podcast. But then I have my wonderful guests here, and I'm just so enraptured by their charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And so now I have to come on here. I desire to come on here and share my thoughts in a classic, absolutely new classic bonus episode style, which is kind of, I'm wearing my glasses, teachers in. Well, substitute. It's kind of giving, I feel like the vibe of these bonus episodes is going to be kind of like guest lecturer, or it's going to be like substitute teacher. Like, she knows some of it. She doesn't know all of it. But you like her style? Okay, guys. So this is what I'm realizing about myself is I have a lot of things I want to be talking about, and then I'm when I'm in the moment, it's hard for me to remember. So then I said notes. I said, let's get educational. I have this, I said, let's write some things that I don't want to forget about. And then I have more comprehensive notes. This is my essay. No, guys, it's cool. These things need to be said. I have to say them on the podcast before I forget them. And then I'm like, why didn't I say that? You know what I mean? Okay. So like, cause things are happening at a freaking, I looked over, it was 4:20. Looked over at the time, it said 4:20 minutes. Oh, okay. This is what I'm saying. Focus. I care about serious things. And as much as I'm this, I also am serious. So actually, let's look at my notes. This is a great place to probably begin. And look at that. It is actually the first note of mine. Huh. Maybe I'm a little smart for that. Okay. I'll just read it. It says compromise / nuance / bridging the gaps of my worlds, integrating into one whole person. Okay. What does this mean? I started this podcast in 2017. Child. Crush podcast, all of your favorite comedians. And then 2020, and then, you know, I go and I protest for years, and I do housing encampment, City Hall Park, Abolition Park. Sometimes I'm like, they're listening, but it's fine. I've been never secretive, you know? So my world goes from, I love improv comedy and I love podcast, music, concert, improv marathon. I like all those things. And then it becomes abolish the police. And here's the thing. I am a Gemini moon, which in my life before knowing anything about astrology, oh my God, I can't believe the evolution of me in the astrology. When I used to joke, I feel like I used to joke on this very podcast about how they were going to kick me out of New York if I didn't care about astrology. Look who's laughing now, me at myself. So I'm extremes. I'm like when I went into that world where I was like, I care about abolish the police and housing everybody, and can we literally stop doing prison? I wasn't thinking about fucking improv comedy or podcasts or any of the things at all, because I was like, blah, this is the mission, and it's still the mission. Being outside of the extreme scenario of which I was at the time because of how things changed, evolved, etc. in my life and in that community's life, but we're also, I still think, very much kind of going strong in our own ways. And also wrapped up in that, of course, is abusive relationship, where there were a couple times I attempted to bring this thing back and I couldn't. I was drowning. I didn't know. I was like, why? Because I didn't want anyone to come to my apartment because it was a shame prison and stuff like that. So I feel like balance has been a common theme in my life and manifests now between what to do when I care about abolish the police and I care about ending like empire and undermining capitalism at all costs and opportunities, which we'll get into. We'll talk about it. We're getting into it. And then also like I've my entire life been this silly goose. And I started to reconnect to the person that I was before my entire life was about abolish the police. And now I want to bridge the gap because I think there's only one reason that I'm who I am and went through the stuff that I went through and met the people and learned the things that I did. There's only, there's a reason that I'm that person and a person that fucking, I don't know, do podcasts. So I just wanted to say that here, that this is, we're trying. I don't know how to do all of the things at once. I want to, but I want them to feed each other. I think that's the ideal, And when it comes to compromise / nuance, in relation to like my dreams, and I do think like everyone's dream, like I think everyone who's like of conscious and cares and like sees what's going on in the world and does have like the depressing thing of like, how am I supposed to fit into this and what am I supposed to freaking do? Am I allowed to live my dreams? I'm here to say, hear you, see you, feel you, am you, and also yes and both. I think ideally yes and both. I think it's interesting. I've been vision board mode. This is what I'm talking about. It's hard for me to slow down. Okay. It's hard for me to one thing at a time. I want to say them all at the same time. So yes, I've been vision board mode in the last couple of years as life was hell. And then I had to scrape away out with a spoon. And it's so interesting how at some point the board becomes irrelevant. Or at least for me, like I'm realizing in real time how my dreams are maybe changing. Which brings us to, do I have it on this board? Media/corpse, right? Okay, which is merger vibes. Like, and I don't, frankly, I have not read deeply into this because I don't, like, I know exactly what I need to know about this merger to know that, like, you know, people have talked about it in more eloquent ways than I have. But yeah, it is all tied to Israel and propaganda and AI. And just like, we simply can't pretend at all anymore that these things aren't, it's not even that they're just connected. They're brothers and sisters. They're in the same family. And we might have to Game of Thrones end their lives. I can't remember a specific of Game of Thrones where like the whole family was killed, but we might have to do that to these motherfuckers. And I think like there's a lot of ways that can happen. A way is people of power is to rescind, is to like, well, that's lame anyways. Like, hello, have I been like, okay, I finished my pilot, and it's like in the concept of the reality of the mind that I have of the world. I'm just trying to say in the world that I have thus far lived in. It's like, yeah, HBO show, duh. And now it's sort of like, maybe not. Like, maybe not that's a given. And I don't want those motherfuckers who are killing all the fun to kill my fun. Like, that's the thing, when we let these big swings of this bullshit of these power players determine what we do and how we move. The only way that they should be determining how we move is how we move against them, So in the interest of, sure, no ethical consumption under capitalism, but also, what if we do things every day that chip away at it, and then, the foundation breaks, and then, like, even if that seems a far off concept, even if like the collapse of capitalism and empire seems fantastical and far away, I think you don't know what you don't know. Every day something might happen that could change everything. I'm living proof. Every day, every person that's been through something is living proof of every day something can happen that changes everything. So first of all, you don't know anything. None of us know anything, really. But none of us know anything. But we also do know the ways that we can move differently in the interest of that. Because frankly, if you can, then why not? You know what I mean? And nuance/compromise means, no, there's not a one size fits all on how you're changing your life to move towards ending empire. But I think we all know a little bit, or can put a concerted effort into deciding what that is for us every day, and that can change and grow and move. And like for me, maybe my dreams are changing. Maybe the people and the entities that were a part of my dreams before aren't anymore. And maybe that's a little bit more challenging, but also maybe it'll be more rewarding when we make something better. I had a conversation about this at my 30th birthday. This is also an episode to commemorate the end of my 20s. I'm 30 now and I'm grown and I'm wearing my glasses. And I am wise enough to know that I don't have all of the answers, but I do have some questions and some ideas. And me and some friends were discussing this, the possibilities. I was sort of trying to preach like, who knows what's going to happen with this merger thing? You know, I think Evil Empire is being so bold-faced right now that like it's on people's lips more than ever before, and I only think that can be a good thing. And my kind of argument was, okay, if they do that, when they do that, whatever, let us have faith in humanity and ourselves to know that that's gonna be like, that ain't shit. Like that's not gonna threaten. Like to me, it's a little bit not of a threat in the way that I'm like, yeah, let them destroy, let them eat each other, let them succession style, whatever. I'm not interested. I'm kind of not interested a little, like, because we already know the motives behind this. We know that fascism is thriving under the power of these entities. So I think we can believe in each other enough to go over here to the other side and make something far better, because we know that fascism don't know how to do like art and stuff, and they're not going to let us. So why are we going to fret about it? I want to put, I mean, not to say that it's not concerning. Obviously it's concerning, but I am just so anti the concerning nature of any of this shit making us defeatist about it, sort of like, no, it's just fucking. I just think that it's a privileged sort of like stance to take, to be like fatalistic about it and to just have no hope. Like that's annoying. That's annoying because it's unhelpful. And it does remind me of like, I mean, there were times in the protest community that I was in, I mean, throughout that time and stuff, there was always concerns about like cops and undercover cops in our midst, and rightly so, there was. But the paranoia that kind of swept the camp was interesting because it brought up the ideas of like, you know, outside agitators / infiltrators, whatever, and sort of like, who's doing cop behavior out here? And I think that defeatist sort of attitude is very similar to that, where it's like, don't mess with me with that. Like, which brings me to, okay, yes. Guys, we're swimming along. Okay. Which actually brings me to another thing. And we're going to get to these things. They're all kind of in here. We'll get to this one. We'll get to new crush vibes. Wait for it. Okay. Which brings me to my next thought that I've been having. And we'll talk about this as well. This is how late I am, but I still want to talk about it. And if you're only listening, get on the Patreon for the visuals. I was pointing at something that says Zoran / Trump. And then the other thing I was pointing at was new crush vibes. Okay. So what I was saying, nuance, bridging the gap, defeatist attitudes, the cops, brings me to perfectionism. Now, part of many of my delays on this podcast, and part of reasons that I haven't gotten to many of these points, and part of like any of my stuckness around anything that I'm doing in my life personally, comes from a lot of fear and a lot of self-doubt, which is perpetuated / born of perfectionism, right? Many people are perfectionists. I didn't realize I was a perfectionist. I thought I wasn't a perfectionist because like I had a messy room, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm like a slob or whatever. And it's like, oh, no, but you're like very self-critical and like, you know, like I will say there's a lot of things that I say with a lot of confidence, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's scary to put yourself out there. It's scary to be wrong, right? I don't want to be, who wants to be wrong? Who wants to look dumb? Who wants to be vulnerable? Like that's part of the reason I've always been so like vulnerable about, I think, embarrassing stuff on this podcast is like an element of control around it, you know, is like a claiming of it, but also like it's a control. And the things that perfectionism and fear brings up to me are the things that like maybe I'm not controlling, you know, like I oh, I shouldn't have said that, or you know, and I'm like, and doing this podcast, I'm never trying to really like over edit myself. Like I want to be able to be wrong or clumsy on this podcast / my life, because that is the nature of human beings, which brings us to perfectionism being a reinforcing element of, you guessed it, capitalism, the police state, and the prison industrial complex. Okay. And here's times that I'm going to say, listen, let me just vibe. Don't attack me. This is my self-doubt and fear coming in, and I'm playing with my glasses because I'm scared to say stuff that sounds stupid when I know that it's right on an emotional level, that I know that it's right. And also I try to remember like, no, I do know some stuff that I'm talking about, but we need to have space for people to not be completely perfect in the way, in their activism, whatever. And I've seen like reels about this and on Instagram and whatever. But I do remember it sort of being a conversation as well in like 2020 in this group and whatever. And I think we need to talk about this is just part of some thoughts I've been having that I've been wanting to share. I think we need to talk about perfectionism and whether or not it contributes to a movement, if it contributes to calling people in and healing and growing, or if it contributes to a binary. Okay, here's the thing about perfectionism and capitalism. Perfectionism wants you to be right or wrong. Perfectionism wants you to be like, well, I'm not going to do abolition or anti-capitalism or any of it completely right because no ethical consumption under capitalism. So since I'm not going to be completely right, I'm not even going to try because I'm probably going to be wrong. Easy, simple. This is what they want you to think. This is the cop thing. This is a cop mentality, because you know what perfectionism, right versus wrong, also reinforces is the binary. What does the binary also reinforce? It's like this good versus evil thing. And what does good versus evil, like as a concept, which is so in like at least Western ideas, you know, in capitalism, good versus evil wants you to think of good guy, bad guy. Good guy, bad guy wants you to think of good guy, put bad guy where? In jail. It comes back to incarceration. I really believe this. I believe this deeply and fundamentally. And it's why I want to talk about prison abolition so much, because I think it's easy for people to say, fuck the police. But it's going to be, it's more imperative to really understand. Saw a hawk, sorry. I love my life. We need to understand that like life literally, it's not good versus evil. And then evil go to jail. That just is literally, capitalism wants you to feel that so badly so that you feed that idea with your tax dollars, and more. And yeah, the hawk did distract me. I feel like I was getting to stuff. Let's look at my notes. Yes. Oh, yes. Another thing about the binary that I've been thinking about of good versus evil, and the danger of that for a movement specifically, like being intentional about how we're seeing ourselves in relation to it, and being very intentional about when our drive towards justice veers into the carceral. You know, that guy's bad, put him in jail. Like, I know it's like we want to say that about a lot of people, for sure. Hear you. And I believe in harm reduction along the way. I think harm reduction along the way towards abolition is obviously an imperative, but not at the expense. Like, I don't want harm reduction at the expense of, at the very least, people challenging what it means to seek justice and the ways that we're subconsciously, every day, interpersonally reinforcing like what capitalism wants us to think about humanity, because capitalism isn't humanity. You know what I mean? Okay. The other thing about the binary is I've been thinking about transness, right? And transness being such a threat to fascism. I just been wanting to talk about transness and the intersex intersexness needing to also be in the conversation. Me knowing that I'm like not knowledgeable, but here's the thing: I don't need to know everything to know that what challenges the binary, which transness and intersexness like identity does, is always going to be anti-capitalist. And that's a huge part of this attack, I think. And I think that when you destroy the binary, then it's a lot harder to uphold these structures that rely on it, that rely on boy, girl, husband, wife. I was just thinking of the industries that rely on husband, wife. Divorce. Good, evil, prison. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on that. Right. Another thing about good versus evil, the binary, is who makes these rules. Who's making these rules. And when we go along with it, whether passively or actively, we are enabling them to make the rules, and we make the rules, bitch. Okay. Anyways, property and patriarchy also is kind of going in binary vibes of like so much of what's going on feels like it's tied. It goes along with, all right. I usually don't care fucking talking about Trump, okay? But here's the thing about Trump Trump being he's such a perfect case of the patriarchy in action, right? Like everything that has to do with the ownership of bodies, which is kind of everything which is the prison industrial complex, which is what's happening with ICE, which is what's happening with women, with every marginalized people, any person. And the thing is actually across the board, they want to own it all. That's what's happening with all of it. They want to own your brain. They want to own your body. They want to own your information, and ownership just being sort of another element of capitalism and patriarchy. Patriarchy and capitalism are,
and of course, it should go without saying, white supremacy. But I'll say it just in case we need it to be said. White supremacy
are also their incest babies. Do you know what I mean? They're in the same they're really Game of Thrones vibes. Capitalism, patriarchy, prison, all of it. It's they're kill them all. Okay, what else? Oh, also just like on an emotional level, I guess I kind of mentioned this, but like we cannot let perfectionism, or we can't opt into doing less because it's harder to figure out if you're doing enough. If we all do that, then no one's doing anything, right? Like, I'm so spooked about a bystander effect of the world. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's talk Zoran Trump vibes. When Zoran Trump happened, I was feeling so alone. Okay. And I say all of this with, listen, I'm not trying to act like I'm better than anyone. I'm just trying to be honest about how I feel. But because when I saw that, I was so confused by how people were so willing and immediately to be like, oh my God, look at Trump having not low-key Trump having a crush on Mamdani. Oh my God, like, what? To me, none of it was cute. I'm on the level of compromise and perfectionism. I'm looking at everything Zoran's doing and hoping for harm reduction and never making him my savior or my solution. And I thought it was so weird. It is just weird how people cartoonify Trump, and like everyone was kind of willing to be like, that was so cute about Trump. And like they thought it wasn't cute. To me, it wasn't cute. Like, he's not cute anymore. Sure, it's funny sometimes, but honestly, lately these things, no, it's getting less and less funny. I think I used to be able to have more of an ability to just see it as the cartoon and but then that's kind of how we got here, right? And I just see the way that he's been talking to these female reporters lately, and I'm like, yeah, this guy is patriarchy. This guy is, we just don't let's just not meme him. Do you know what I mean? It's normalizing and neutralizing it all. It's crazy he said quiet piggy piggy to these reporters. What the fuck? And it really it's bringing a rage in me I'm sure, informed by trauma, of course. Let's just not play into it, guys. This is part of the ownership, I think, is like they kind of own the way you feel about him and all of it when we're all like being swept up in these media moments. Like you think I don't want to sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist all the time, like how everything's a fucking psyop or something, but like be real. They want you to think of it as harmless. And it's like not. And he's still not I still am, I still am not a person who thinks that Trump is the issue and it's just Trump. Obviously, if you fucking listened or anything, I know it's everyone that's upholding it. But yeah, I also, there are some things I don't love that Zoran's doing and I'm keeping an eye on it. And I just don't want us to get complacent. I don't know. There are things like that make me feel like, oh my God, am I out of step? Like I feel right. I obviously feel that my opinion is right. And I'm sure that other people think that their opinion is right. And I understand that. But here's just another one. It's like the same thing. I kind of popped off about this on Good Christian Fun, but it's like about AI and like, I just don't understand the casualness that we're all like dealing and like witnessing all the time. And I don't understand anyone taking a Waymo, and I don't understand anyone doing the robots. And it's a sort of thing that, yeah, I'm trying to approach with more gentleness because of what I previously said about perfectionism and how like I do think that we need to be strengthening our bonds. But I also think that part of that is looking at the whole picture, It's like my thing. I literally can't remember if I talked about this on the podcast or only in conversations recently, but it's like my thing about Mark Ruffalo and Palestine and also doing a cop show. Like we gotta be making the connections here, dudes. Because if not, it's like fake. Like I don't want it to be fake. I want us to be moving in a way that really pushes how we're understanding our place in all of it. Now, does this mean that you'll never see me on TV or in a movie? I hope not. I hope you see me in stuff that I believe in, and that at least it's a thing that I'm dealing with every day, right? I'm conscious of my image, like literally my image, like in relation to AI. There are things I really don't want to do anymore. Like I did one commercial and I don't want to do them anymore. I thought I'm grateful for the commercial that I did in the sense that I had no money for 2 years and the only money that I ever got was from that stupid commercial. And now I'm not getting any more money for it for a while. And I thought like, okay, you are not the number one fascist for having done this commercial. But like it sits on me. I don't like it. I can't ignore it. I've tried to ignore it. I don't like it. I try to ignore it when I get certain commercial auditions. And I know that it could give me more money than I have had. Still never enough comparatively. But I just really don't wanna. I don't like that they want to use someone who looks like me to advertise things that are just literally gonna end up funneled into like the Zionist fascist project, imperialist project. Like, I don't want to do it. Do I think I'll be able to avoid feeding that beast at all? Of course not. I already did an indie movie. I don't that, you know, like there every day is a choice I'm making, right? My thing with jobs right now is I want to evaluate, is this going to help me get where I want to go? And how much harm is it doing on the way? And I think that answer is going to be different every day for every person. And I want to stay accountable to myself and to that idea. And I'm going to check in every day. I think part of the point is going to be the process. Resistance being a lifelong struggle. It's a lifelong battle. If you want to be a part of this thing, recognize that it's for life. And I do want to be a part of this thing. And I do think that this is the part of my life that is about figuring out that long-term sustainability, right? I don't want my life to be ruled by money. I want to have security so that I can do stuff like get on podcasts and talk. And hopefully, like, I would love to cut out the middleman, and I would love money to keep me in a house, and more to keep other people in houses, to create something sustainable that continues to go beyond me and my security. I'm open to what that looks like every day. One day it might be a day player role on some movie that will probably be distributed by evil guys. And maybe in that day, it will have been the right choice for me to do that job and get enough money for my rent that month so I could continue to do this. And what is this? I think what I realized is the part of bridging the gap and figuring out what I want my life and work to be is I wish that everyone had certain experiences and sat at certain teach-ins that I sat in, you know, and heard the words that changed me. So I'm going to try to just evoke some of those words. I'm going to keep trying to express the ideas that the closest people to me now, my closest friends, taught me. These educators who know so much more than me, but more than that, showed me through who they are and how they interact with the world and people. Like what abolition is and what it really is to live a life that is in align with the spirit of freedom is the goal, abolition is the path. I just want us to be on a path towards liberation. And I'll allow my dreams to change with that. I don't want to be corrupted. But I don't also think that means that I should stay in the shadows and just chug away in my day-to-day life. I've tried doing that. I've been doing that. But I just don't think it's what I think. I have both of these things at the same time. This desire to fucking, I don't know, be on a podcast and talk and ramble and write and act and perform and connect and whatever, be a fucking artist, blah, blah, blah. It has to be the same thing. It comes from the same person that cares about destroying what encages us. So I think we're learning every day. I'm asking questions and I don't have all of the answers, but I'm going to keep trying. What are my resolutions? What have I, okay, so we talked, can we cross these up? We kind of talked Zoran Trump. Let's just get fucking serious. Let's just get fucking serious is what I think. And I don't like the Jessica Tish of it all. That's her name, right? I don't like Jessica Tish of it all, of NYPD, of absolute suppression of Palestinian resistance in New York. Look at that last name. Some of these guys, it's some of these families. Okay. We pretty much talked about property patriarchy and binary. Listen, nobody owns anybody. Nobody owns anybody, and we got to stop acting like anybody owns us, and let's just stop paying our taxes, brothers, sisters, friends, siblings. I can't do it alone. We're going to be fine without Paramount, Netflix, HBO Max. We don't need them. In fact, maybe they're crushing us. And there's a lot of people who care. I think I take them at their word that they care, who are on those platforms. And I'm not even going to say that I'll never be on those platforms. I've probably already been on them. I've been an extra in a lot of things. I'm trying to remember that being an extra in the movie does not make me the number one villain. Trying to have grace. But I also have trauma from people not taking me at my word. This is also coming from the self-doubt point. I think also abuse and some toxic relationships that I've been in have also made me feel like, am I the absolute worst? Is everybody going to take apart everything that I say and talk about all of the hypocrisies? Maybe. I was in a vitamin water commercial. I feel guilty about it every day. And all I can do is now say, I'm not going to do that again, because I thought I could do it without feeling guilty every day. Wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. And even still, let's not attack ourselves before we attack the cops. Okay. Yeah, resistance, a lifelong struggle. Let's just be about it every day. Every day we think something. Every day that our brain thinks something kind of colonial, kind of like ownership vibes, kind of capitalistic. Let's say, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. How am I perpetuating it? I didn't find the flow. It's fine. And how can I undo it? And let's just do it out loud. This is me. This is what I'm trying to do. We'll never cross out resistance because it's always happening. Check. Money, I need it. So do a lot of people. I want to destroy it. But right now we need to, I think, use it. Yeah. Like the phrase that I came up with in my mind about money for myself is kind of like, okay, given that I live in the world that it exists with right now, I think a lot can change in our lifetime. Given that I live in the world with the money right now, how can I use the money to undermine capitalism at every opportunity that I can? So if I have to make money to pay my rent, to survive, how am I going to make my life something that undermines capitalism at every opportunity that I can? Doing so in a way that keeps me safe, but not complacent, nor a mouthpiece for what I wish to destroy. No more money. Really, what we got to be doing with money is taking it away. Don't pay those things. I'm not going to say the word anymore. Okay. New year, we'll get to the final. This will be the final thing. New year, new me. It's coming up. My New Year's resolutions. Let me make sure that there's nothing else beautiful here that I needed to talk about. I was changed by friends talking, so let me maybe be your friend talking. That's what this is. I was changed by friends talking, so let me be your friend talking. And if we all change, and maybe one of you might be a literal genius that comes up with something so awesome, that makes us not care about any of these things. Yeah. Safety, housing, something got erased here. Can't remember. Saying goodbye to my 20s. What an interesting affair. I learned a lot in my 20s. They were really bad. A lot of the time was so bad. And I'm so glad I got that over with. I'll never be in an abusive relationship again. Mark my fucking goddamn ass words. And that includes with the state, because the state is an abuser. Israel is an abuser. I will not be in relationship with them. I just kind of changed my chalk for no reason. I will not be. I am not contributing to an active relationship with them. Just how I'm gonna smell it from a mile away. The next time someone tries to come in and make me feel small, we got to feel big. So yeah, I got that out of the way. No more of that. What are my resolutions? Start therapy. Guess what? Have a appointment already next Wednesday. Okay. The vibe is, and my new crush said this to me. The vibe is starting your resolutions before the new year. So boom, you're like really on the road, and I'm doing that. Therapy goes hand in hand with my other resolution, which is get into a mutual aid group of some sort out here in LA. Why does it have to do with that? Because I need to deal with my PTSD. I don't know why I'm singing that. It's because it's uncomfortable to talk about. It's uncomfortable because I hate it. Like, I want to do stuff around housing and houselessness. By the way, I go back and forth with these words. This wasn't on the list, but I'll add it. There was a whole thing about houseless versus homeless versus unhoused. I realize now, I think that was, what were we talking about words? We were talking about words when we need to be talking about houses. But I go back and forth. I think that anything that distracts us from the central cause of put people in those damn houses, please, is useless. Okay, anyways, why did I start talking about that? Yes. I'm in LA. People are on the street. It is like, it's still what I give a fuck about. It's still what's right in front of me. None of that has changed. It's still what I've given a fuck about since I was a literal child, was like homeless people. And why does that exist? It was one of the first abolitionist ideas that I ever entered in my mind before even realizing that that's what it was. And it's because the children are the future and the children know it's real, which is that, why is anybody living on the street? That doesn't make no damn sense, especially when they have issues of PTSD. That was what was always so funny when I was little. Did I talk about this on the podcast? Probably. When I realized that when I read whatever statistic or whatever it was, some book or something, about how a lot of people on the street were veterans of war who had suffered from PTSD, and it was hard for them to hold down a job. They drank, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Led them to the street. I remember being now I realize, radicalized by that idea. Like, but that's so horrible. But they need help. And now it's funny to be like somebody that has PTSD and like understands that acutely. I mean, not that type of PTSD, but I have it. I understand it very specifically how it makes your life difficult, and it makes it hard to do things. And one of the things that makes it hard for me to do is to interact with the community that I so care for. Really, and it's not just like, it's really when people are talking to themselves, ooh, that's hard for me. It's hard for me. That's my trigger. But also, like, it's just any heightened energy. I mean, the other day, yesterday, a woman was like shouting and frustrated, and she was like talking on the phone, and she asked me like if I had a second. She was like, I don't want to hear some like I'm busy shit. Like if you're and I'm like, I'm not, no, whatever. Like I felt that I was I could feel my body triggered just because of like heightened, like yelling, like forget it doesn't matter who's yelling. Anybody yelling, heightened anger about anything, whether justified. And this is why I felt like I could talk to her, even though my body was a little, I'm like, she's angry about her situation and she's desperate, and I understand it, and I've been there. I've been angry, hungry, desperate on the street, needing help, not in the same way, but I understand why you would be heightened, right? So I like heard her out. She was like, she's trying to make $80 for her and her. I'm like, I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, I had a couple dollars on me. I said, I'm unemployed, but I have a couple dollars. I feel you. And she was like, no, I don't want to do that to you. Like, I hear, like, you're good. Thank you. Like, and it was so like, I do want to give her more than a couple dollars. Because she's like people that I knew and know, like from my community in New York. So I kind of need to make a little bit of money so I can do stuff like that and not tell this woman that I'm unemployed and I can't help her. Because I want to be able to. Why am I crying? Because it's also like the understanding from her. Like, she has no need to understand me. But I think that, and because I see it happen all the time when people ask me for something, or even just like ask for a light or whatever. And when I see them and I interact and I talk to them and I don't just like walk by or whatever, which I've always done, but it's harder for me now because my body will be going into like, fight or flight mode. But I've been white knuckling it. Like, I haven't done it with any real tools besides just, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And when the guy asks you for a light, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. You can just give him a light. He gives you the light. He says, thank you. I say, you're welcome. We go about our day. I say, yeah, that's PTSD for you. It's not your brain, it's your body. But I just know that a lot of people, that part of what drives someone to being so heightened and so frustrated and like that feeling like I'm going crazy, I'm going fucking nuts, is when like you're acting like I'm not even here. And that happened to me when I was punched, I was like walking bloody through the streets and yeah, I've had and it's a theme that keeps coming up, is this idea of, do you see me? Am I fucking real? Don't act like I'm not real. That'll make me crazy. And I'm not crazy, but now you're making me this crazy person. Like, I've been there. I get it. It's like an acutely human thing. So I really try not to ever contribute to anyone feeling like, am I fucking here? Does anybody hear me? Because that was the vibe she was having on the street, kind of like when we were passing each other. It was like, oh, this bitch has been, not to call her this bitch, but like, I know when someone has gone through their like fifth person who's just like walked by them or has been like, and doesn't look you in your fucking eye, So I don't want my PTSD to hold me back from being able to be in community with anyone anymore. So my resolution is therapy for PTSD I really want to join a mutual aid group of some sort that has something to do with housing or, you know, food. I think maybe as I still heal myself, I ease into being out on the streets, but it's hard because that's where I want to be. I love people. I want to talk to people. I don't want to be imprisoned by this thing that happened to me. So I'm going to fight very hard to liberate myself from it. Anyways, that's one of my resolutions. I think it's a good resolution is to try to find a mutual aid group in your community. I am excited to do that and to really understand my community here in LA. And I don't want to come in here stomping around. I want to just help whatever infrastructure is already here. And I just want to connect with people who also care. And I really want to connect with people who also care in this fucking industry, podcasty, whatever. And I don't want anyone to feel alienated by how stark some of my opinions are. I want all to feel welcomed on the couch, but I also want us to be holding each other accountable. And I think that'll make it easier for more people to withdraw from the damn rat race of it all. Okay. Didn't think I was going to cry this episode. Sorry about that. Just kidding. I'm not sorry. In my 30s, I don't apologize for having feelings and taking up space. And that's actually been very hard. But let's move on to the most exciting final point of all is new crush vibes. I'm having a crush. I'm having a crush for real. I'm having like a real, it's sort of like a classic, even classroom crush type of vibe. I'm talking sending songs. I'm talking, ooh, I got a text with a little smile on my face. I'm going like this. So that's fun. I asked this person out before they asked me out. They were going to ask me out. I knew the vibes were coming, but I saw an opportunity and I went for it because that's sort of part of, my journey as me being brave. And I'm very proud of myself that I did do that. And I did kind of concoct an incredible date plan. And it's very interesting to have like a new crush experience where, I don't know, just like vibes are good. I just like vibes are good and I don't really have huge questions about if this person is like a villain or not. I'm like, this person simply rocks and rolls and that is cool. I'm feeling proud of myself for going for it. I'm going to remember this anytime I'm doing something scary, is that sometimes you do the scary thing, which is start laying the groundwork in the Instagram DMs, and then you start being more bold, and it's scary every time. And then especially when you ask someone out, that's very scary. But sometimes you do the scary thing and you're actually rewarded. The time before that I asked someone out, I wasn't rewarded, but I actually was, because I asked him out, found out he was seeing someone. I say, okay, that's fine. We're friends now. It's fine. And you know what I'm realizing? Was not going to be the vibes anyways. Because you know where the vibes were going to be? Right here, right now, baby. New crush vibes. It's not even like a new crush. It's like someone I've been aware of. But like never thought that, a silly girl like me could be absolutely texting with a smile on my face about this. So stay tuned. I'm trying to not fall in love anytime soon, but I am trying to reclaim my life. Here's the thing. This is what I actually want to leave us on. Let me take a second. Let me take a sip of my cold coffee. Florida. I don't know who Carlos is. If you're wondering, I'm sipping from a mug that says Florida Carlos. Okay. What I want to leave us on. Well, what was I going to leave us on? Wait. I literally just thought of it. Oh, yeah. Okay. In this bonus episode, not freestyle, I had notes. This video essay. What is this? This vibe off. I'm a vibing off with myself. Anyways, the thing that changed in my life most fundamentally post-punch, post-abuso. And I gotta stop being funny about it. But the thing that changed the most after like the biggest, baddest traumas of late is like, I do have a sense and feeling of having survived something. And like, especially when it comes to a violent thing, at least the way that it's manifested for me is like, I survived something violent. And, you know, I used to say it wasn't personal, and it wasn't in the sense that like that guy wasn't like, I'm going to punch that girl, Rebecca Bolnez. She seems like a fucking bitch. He wasn't like that. He didn't say one word. But it was personal in the sense of like my face. That was my face. And what happened, at least to me, after going through something violent and your body being like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm alive. Okay, I'm alive. Is now I'm like, I cannot ignore that I am alive. You know? For better or for damn worse, I'm going to choose for better. I'm alive right here, right now. And fuck, it's my life. Oh shit. It's my life to have fun with. And it's my life to give a fuck about. And it's my life to have agency over. It's my life to use. It's my life is my art. My art is my practice. My practice is abolition, baby. My practice is how I'm going to choose to live it. To live that life. Okay, I got punched, not killed. I was in an abusive relationship, not killed though. There are a lot of people who are getting killed everywhere. So what am I going to do? How am I going to be in this body now that I have the fucking privilege to be alive? And part of that is, giving a fuck about other people. Part of that is living those, feeling those good love feelings. And I really want to, because I think, you know, as of late, I've experienced some of the darker feelings of life that life has to offer. Some of the feelings that make you go, wow, I'm crying like a baby. Now I would like to have some of the feelings that make me go, I'm crying like I just had a baby. I'm crying of happiness. I want to have awesome feelings, awesome sexual feelings. I want to kiss the people that I want to kiss. I want to feel so good. And I don't think that those things have to be in competition. You know what I mean? Like seeing the seriousness of you have this life to live and you have been graciously given this opportunity to interact with things such as birds, you know, trees. I saw some sea lions recently that I loved. You have the opportunity to be here and experience that. And that's serious. With great power comes great responsibility, though no one is a superhero. You can only be a superhero in your own life. And if we're all doing superhero-like activities in our own lives, whether small or big, then guess what? We're all doing great stuff. We're doing that. Could have been more wise, but you know what I'm saying. It's serious to be alive, and it's also sensual and beautiful. And there's the dark and the light, but there's not, because as we've discussed, the binary is over. That's the space that I'm in. You know what? Actually, that's the space that I'm in. I'm comfortable in the gray, because in the gray is true. In the gray is truth. In the gray is all of this bad stuff is happening, and also boy texts me and I go, yay. But who am I to fucking deny that? We would be dumb to deny that. The point is advocating for life, and part of life is love. So, hence Classroom Crush. Anyways, I guess I'll shut up now. I think I've been talking for a while. I hope you enjoyed this / you learned anything, or you just felt validated. And I hope that you I hope that part of everyone's New Year's resolution is make at least one bullet point. How am I undermining in my life all that aims to kill? And how am I promoting life? Bitch. I don't know why I'm calling everyone a bitch lately. Let's close it out with a song. All right. Let's keep it up. Let's keep each other in the loop. Freedom without, let's get freedom without loneliness. It's what I would love to possess. Follow Classroom Crush podcast. Oh, I started a TikTok, even though that feels dangerous to do these days. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Contribute to the Patreon. I'm putting out this episode for free. Next bonus episodes will be, I guess, behind a paywall. I guess I have to start. I don't want to do it, but I do need money for the stuff that was discussed. So if you got $5 a month to spare, maybe throw it my way. If you don't want to throw it my way, throw it somebody else's way. But hopefully someone that really needs it. Keep it up, baby, when you're holding me. Keep it up, baby, when you're kissing me. Keep it up, baby. I think my headphone fell out, but I think I was at the wrong part of the song. It's fine. Bye.